Hello everyone. We are going to start with the next part of surface tension, that is cohesion and adhesion. Here we are going to see the definition for cohesion and adhesion first. The force of attraction between unlike charges in the atoms or molecules of substances are responsible for cohesion and adhesion. Or in simple words, we can say it is the force of attraction between the molecules or the atoms. Now, this force of attraction may be due to the similar atoms or molecules or due to the different kinds of atoms and molecules. So, suppose we'll go for first a cohesion. Cohesion is the clinging together of molecules or atoms within a substance. Have you ever wondered why rain falls in drops rather than individual water molecules? Isn't it very interesting? It's because water molecules cling together to form drops. Now we'll see what is adhesion. Adhesion is the clinging together of molecules or atom of two different substances. You might be knowing adhesive tapes. The name get it from adhesion only. That is the adhesion between tape and the other object. We also know so many things in our daily life, such as water molecules cling to many other materials besides clinging to themselves. For example, suppose we have some water in a glass, then the water is thrown out. Still, you will observe some of the water molecules are clinging on the surface or the boundaries of the glass. So this is the two different kind of molecules, that is the water molecules and the glass molecules. There is a force of attraction, and that force of attraction is adhesion. Now here we'll see two of the beakers or measuring cylinder or jars, what we can say. In one of the beaker we have H2O, that is water, and in another beaker we have mercury. Okay, so or we can say these are the graduated cylinders. So you can observe here that the meniscus in a graduated cylinder of water is due to the adhesion between water molecules, the side of the tube. The adhesion is greater than the cohesion between the water molecules. Whereas in case of the beaker containing mercury, you can observe the reverse is true. That is, the mercury atoms are attracted to each other more strongly than they are attracted to the sides of the tube. This causes a sort of reverse meniscus. This meniscus shows a convex shape, isn't it? Whereas the beaker containing water shows a concave shape. Now we'll see some of the very important definitions which are very much related to surface tension. First we'll see molecular range. The maximum distance up to which cohesive force can act is called molecular range. Now we'll see sphere of influence. Suppose we have drawn an imaginary sphere surrounding a molecule where force of attraction is present is called sphere of influence. Here we can see a dish is there containing some liquid and a capillary tube is inserted in this liquid or this dish. Okay. So in this you can see capillary action is result of adhesion and cohesion. Means if the liquid is rising or is rising in the capillary tube, it means that there is the two kinds of force of attraction are acting over there. One is the cohesive force and the other is the adhesive force. A liquid that adheres to the material that makes up a tube will be drawn inside. Whatever liquid is kept in this dish, that liquid will drawn to the capillary tube. The cohesive force between the molecules of the liquid will connect. The molecules that aren't in direct contact with the inside of the tube. In this way, liquid can crawl up a tube. Now we'll see what the actually capillary action, or we can say capillarity. The rise or fall of liquid inside the capillary tube is called capillary action or capillarity. Here are some of the examples of capillary action we have seen in our daily life. That is rise of oil through cotton wick of oil lamp. We almost all of us know what is oil lamp and through which through the cotton wick the oil rises, isn't it? Another is we regularly use a pen, that is the rise of ink through pen ink. One more is a blotting paper absorbs ink by capillary action. Suppose some ink falls down, we used to keep a blotting paper on that so that this blotting paper soaks or absorbs all the ink. It is one of the example of capillary action. One very important example is water rises from stem of the tree towards the branches. This is the example I want to show you for this as an example of capillary action. So this diagram shows you how do trees pumps water hundreds of feet from the ground to their highest leaves. Why do paper towel soaks up spills? Why does liquid wax rise to the tip of the candle wick to be burned? All these are example of capillary action. The movement of liquid up through a thin tube. It is due to adhesion and cohesion. Now we'll see angle of contact, or we can say contact angles. The angle between the tangent to the liquid surface at the point of contact and the solid surface inside the liquid is called angle of contact for the pair of solid and liquid. Now we'll see the significance of angle of contact. If suppose the angle of contact theta is acute, that is it is less than 90 degree, then the liquid weights the solid surface in contact. The meniscus of the liquid is concave. Liquid rise in capillary tube. Cohesive force is smaller than the adhesive force. For example, water and glass. One more is that where theta is an obtuse angle, that is theta is greater than 90 degree. Here we can observe how it is more than 90 degree. In the given figure, the liquid in such kind of liquid, the liquid does not weight the solid surface in contact. Meniscus of the liquid is convex. Liquid get depressed in capillary. Cohesive forces are greater than adhesive forces. And a best example is mercury and glass. Suppose on a glass plate, we put a drop of mercury. It shows or the angle of contact observed in such case is greater than 90 degree. Now we'll see what factors can affect this angle of contact for a liquid. The angle of contact depends upon following factors, and these factors are the nature of the liquid and the nature of the solid. Both are important. Purity of the liquid and cleanliness of the solid. Again, if the liquid is having some impurity or the surface of the solid is not clean, you may get different angle of contact. Here, a very good example is shown in this figure. Here, the angle of contact goes on increasing. It can be observed. First angle is 45 degree. Then the angle of contact increases and it becomes 60 degree. Then it is 90 degree. Then again it increases and it becomes 120 degree. And again it increases, so it shows 135 degree. And the whole figure explains itself. It means if suppose the angle of contact is decreasing, it means that liquid will weight the solid surface. And after 90 degree, if the angle of contact increases, it will not weight the solid surface. Or we can say, less the angle of contact, more the liquid spread and can weight the solid. More the angle of contact, less the liquid spread and cannot weight the solid. Now we'll see surface tension can be calculated by using capillary rise method. Here we can observe a beaker in which some liquid is taken and a capillary tube is held. It is observed that the liquid rises in the capillary tube. Okay, so when this liquid rises in the capillary tube, surface tension can be calculated as RH rho g upon cos theta. Okay, so this R is angle of contact. Theta is angle of contact. R is the radius of capillary tube. H is liquid rise in tube. Rho is the density of liquid. And theta is the angle of contact. And suppose we have taken liquid in this beaker is water, then we can consider this theta to be 0 and cos 0 will be 1. So T is equal to RH rho g can be taken if suppose the angle of contact theta is 0. Again we can see if the pressure, we have two beakers again, and one of the capillary tube, radius of the one of the capillary tube is greater and the another capillary tube have little bit smaller radius, then what actually happens? Here we can see that if the pressure is the same at the base and inside the tube, there is no pressure difference to support the column of the fluid. The column exists because of capillarity. The effect is greater in thin tubes because there is more surface area of tube per unit of weight of fluid. The force supporting fluid is proportional to the surface area of the tube. And that can be taken as 2 pi RH, where R is the radius of the capillary tube and H is its height. The width of the fluid in the tube is proportional to its volume, that is pi R square H. So, if the radius of the tube is double, the surface area doubles, but the volume quadruples. So we can note here, if the fluid were mercury, rather than rise, it will be depressed by the tube. As we have earlier seen in two cases where we will get the concave and convex meniscus of the fluid. In that case, if you take a liquid as water, you will get a concave shape and the liquid rises in the tube. Whereas if we take the liquid as mercury, then it will depressed in the tube and it will shows a convex meniscus. Now we'll see the relation between R and H. Here again we are considering two beakers, two capillary tubes inserted in the beaker. Some liquid is there, but the difference is the radius of the two capillary tubes are different. Suppose in the first case, suppose R1 is the radius of the tube and H1 is the height of the tube. Then in another case, R2 is the radius of the tube and H2 is the height of the tube. Then experimentally it can be observed that surface tension T1 is equal to R1 H1 rho g upon cos theta and T2 is equal to R2 H2 rho g upon cos theta. So when we equate these two equations, we can have R1 H1 is equal to R2 H2. In this manner, we can find out the relationship between the radius and height of the capillary tube.